Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mike Colleen, MikeColleen.com. This video is going to be about when a narcissist is at their most vulnerable. This is going to shock you because for most of you, it actually terrified you, but this is not the time to be terrified. This is the time to go on the attack. But first, I'm going to show you something. It is raining like crazy in California. If you've ever wondered if it rains in California, yes, it rains in California. This is insane. It's been raining off and on like this since December. I mean, you know what? I'm just going to go back to the video. It's been raining a lot since December, the second week of December. This is going to flood out that's pouring down the driveway. All right. So back to narcissists and when they're at their most vulnerable. Believe it or not, but it's when they're hoovering you and trying to suck you back in. That's when they are at their most vulnerable. Here's why. They are freaking out, okay? So one thing you have to understand is there's a couple things going on. They clearly don't have a good source of supply, because if they did, they would not come back. Now, you have to understand something. A source of supply is basically someone, not only are they getting their physical energy from them, which is extremely important for a narcissist to function. Without that, it's like having a car without gasoline. I'm serious. They shut down. They're extremely tired all the time. They can't function. They're not happy. Sorry about that. Neighbor might want to talk to me. So what happens is they don't get their source of energy, so they're drained, physically drained. And then on top of that, they don't get the nurturing. They don't get the compliments. They don't get the feel-good stuff from you, which gives them the confidence to go out in the world and be a dick to people, right? So what's happened is all of a sudden their sources of supply are gone and they're freaking out. And that's the reason why they're hoovering you, is because they are desperate. And here's the other part. They are sensitive as fuck. So the reason why I say this is the time to go on the attack, it's because this is when it's going to hurt them the most. Not to be mean, not to get revenge. It's because if you know anything about narcissists, they won't give up. They won't stop. The only way you could stop a narcissist from coming after you is just by consistently being mean to them, hurting them emotionally where it hurts the most. Okay, so here's the deal. You were a solid match for their attachment style. So let's say they need like 5 things. Like they need to be complimented, they need to be nurtured, they need certain kind of like financial security or whatever it is, okay? You matched all of those for them. And here's the thing is they may have left you for someone that they thought was better, and they realize like, holy shit, they actually don't have what I need. And they're freaking out. They're tired, they're exhausted, and they are emotionally scared because they are emotionally vulnerable and sensitive. And that is a narcissist's worst nightmare. So they are doing, okay, when they start sending you stuff in the mail like gifts and letters, they call you, they text you, they look for any reason. And the other thing is also when they're sending their flying monkeys around to check up on you. All right. So when they're sending their flying monkeys around, they're texting you, they're emailing you, they're using fake email names and fake social media stuff, and you figure out it's them. This is absolutely beyond a shadow of a doubt when they're at their weakest. They are flipping out. They're tired. They're physically exhausted. And another thing you really need to know, they have massive anxiety and panic attacks going on. They are in a massive state of fear. Now, here's the deal. This is the time to be aggressive. So when the flying monkey calls you or emails you, this is the time when you're rude, when you're disrespectful, and you say that guy's a loser, or that person is this, or call them on their shit. They cannot handle the emotional sting. This is why they're narcissists, because they don't learn how to develop their right brain, the emotional processor. They don't learn how to deal with healing emotions, or even they just refuse to deal with their emotions. So they've never developed the ability to sit down with their own hurt and pain and deal with it, okay? Now you might think, oh, Mike, you're being really mean. No, not really. Because if you're nice to them at this point, they're going to keep hoovering you. They're going to keep coming back. They're going to keep stalking you. They're going to do some fucked up shit, like really, like stalking you at nighttime. They're going to tell your friends, talk behind your back. They're going to go on the attack. This is the time to really sting them. Because here's what's going to happen. When they send their flying monkeys, they're going to try to get your bank information. They're going to try to get your credit card. They're going to try to copy it. They're going to try to make, get the numbers and get the PIN code. And they're going to do all of this shit. They're going to do anything they can to get leverage on you and to hurt you. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to beat you into submission. Now, I'm saying this from personal firsthand experience. This actually happened to me. Luckily, I caught the person just as they were doing it. So it was a flying monkey that they sent. So here's the deal. You start being mean to the flying monkey. You just tell them straight to their face what you think of them, what they think of their freaking narcissist master and all that shit. Don't back off, because here's the deal. This is when you have leverage. This is when you are at the strength, because they're at their weakest. If you keep hammering them, they're going to be like, I'm done. I cannot do this. Now, let's say you're in a relationship and you are learning about narcissist abuse and you're like, oh my God, I'm in a relationship with a narcissist, all right? And you might be thinking, well, how do I get rid of them? Leave. Narcissists have a huge abandonment issue. And on top of that, they have this attachment thing with you where you make them feel good. So here's what happens. When you leave them, just don't even tell them. Don't even, in fact, do it the way they do it to us. Ghost them. Pack your bags when they're not around, move your stuff slowly to another home, another apartment, or whatever, and just fucking leave in the middle of the night when they're not even aware of it. Or leave when they're at work. Change your phone number, do everything you can, because here's what will happen. Actually, what you can do is you can just block them. That's good enough, because changing your number means you have to change your passcodes and everything like to all your accounts. So blocking your number, trust me, that'll sting them too. And block them on your email, social media, etc. This will cause what they call a narcissistic injury. Now, that word never worked for me. I didn't know what it meant. But it means it will cause them to go into massive overdrive panic mode, freak out. And this will cause them to go into that weakened state. You just avoid the hell out of them. And if they do bump into you, you yell at them. If you're in public, especially if you're around people, because they do not like being humiliated or embarrassed or yelled at in public in front of other people. You let them have it, okay? You sting them with as much as you can, and you keep doing it. You do not let off the gas pedal. They will very quickly be like, wow, I can't take this. I'm going to leave. So this will cause them to be like, I'm not coming back no more. This is like a wild animal, like a tiger attacking a gazelle, and the gazelle just keeps kicking it in the freaking teeth, and it stabs it with its horns over and over in front of the lion. It's like, oh, I'm out of here. Screw this. And remember, you can always get a restraining order. And another thing you can do, you can go to the police and say, hey, this person is doing this to me. They're harassing me. They won't stop. They're emailing me, and I've blocked them. They made a fake social media account. So you can have a police officer call them. Sometimes if they have time, they will actually call, say, hey, what's the deal? And they'll tell them, don't ever call them again. And then you have a witness, a legal witness, and then you can get a restraining order on top of that if necessary. So another thing you can do, if you live on private property, you can show them the signs. You can tell them verbally, hey, this is private property. This is legal. If you are not invited, you are not allowed to be here. And what I did was I showed them the signs, and I verbally told them, and I said, I'm going to the manager. I'm going to make an email, and I'm going to talk to them in person about who you are and that you're not allowed here, blah, 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 blah. So go on the offensive. So now that you've notified them and you've told the manager and had a police call them, etc., if they do cross that boundary, they are in big trouble. Now you can push the law on them to the fullest. Another tip is record the conversation. And one thing you have to say, at least in the state of California, say, I am recording you. This is being recorded right now. So record when you tell them, hey, this is private property. You're not allowed here. You're not welcome, etc. And record, and also send them an email stating what you told them, how they're not allowed to be on this property and how it's private property, etc., etc. To talk to you, to bring you back. Or another thing they'll do is they will get people, and this actually happened to me. They would send people to date me. Well, I don't want to give out who it is, but it was a woman in particular. There was actually more than one, but this one actually admitted, because I called her on it. I said, oh, so-and-so sent you. And they like, oh shit, because they got caught. They slipped up is what it is. I caught them in something. So they admitted it. So when they are doing this, this means that they are desperate. They are freaking out. They're at a very weak place. So this is the time, if they accidentally on purpose bumped into the store, because it wasn't an accident, they planned it. They waited around the corner, they timed it, or they knew that you went to the store at a certain day, at a certain time, because they stalked you and looked all this stuff up. Be mean to them, especially in public. Especially call them on their shit. Tell them they're stalking you. Tell them you're going to call the police. Blurt this stuff out loud in public. Don't be nice to them. Here's why. Again, if you know anything about narcissists, they are relentless. They will not stop coming after you. So if you consistently sting them, they're going to be like, I don't want to have nothing to do with this person at all. Just like a predator, like I don't know, like a black panther or a tiger or something. If it keeps getting stabbed in the gut with a sharp knife, they're going to like, oh, I'm out of here. Like, have you ever seen those wild animal things like in Africa where they're trying to get a certain kind of, like, what are those things? They look like deer, but they're not. I can't think of the name. It could be a zebra, but that's not the one I'm thinking about. The one that has long horns like a deer. Well, if they keep getting kicked in the mouth over and over, after a while, they're going to be like, oh, fuck this. I give up. And they run away. Okay. That's why it's the best time to do that. So there's one more thing I wanted to say real quick. Let me see. What was it? Oh, man, I forgot what it was. Damn. Hold on. All right, I remember. I got it. Okay, so here's the deal. The number one thing a narcissist is terrified of doing is dealing with their emotions. They don't want to do it, and that's why they won't go in the right brain. They hide behind their logic and all that stuff. Narcissists are terrified of dealing with painful emotions. They won't do it. They can't do it. And here's the thing. They're not good at it. Okay? So the thing about dealing with emotions is, I learned how to do it in personal development. I found this really good. She's an energy healer / coach. She was really good at getting me to understand things that I learned in seminars, but I didn't really understand, but I didn't know that I understand. Like, well, this shit doesn't work. And one thing I learned about that is, okay, let's take girls. Women / girls at a young age start learning, they literally will trade secrets and tips. Well, you know, when I get hurt, and you know, when a boy's mean to me at school, and like, let's say it's a little girl telling her friend or her sister, the way I deal with that is I do this and that, and then when I go to school, what I do is I do this and I do that. You know, like they'll say like, well, I'll come home and I'll cry in my pillow, and then I'll take like a hot shower, and then what I do is I'll you know, put on good music or eat chocolate or whatever. Okay. So the thing is, men in general, we don't do that stuff. We definitely don't teach each other, well, here's my secret for when I get hurt emotionally. Like, we don't do that. So the thing about narcissists, they're even worse than the average guy. They're like, nope, not dealing with emotions. Fuck that. Nope, not going to happen today. Give me some drugs. Give me some alcohol. Give me some source. Give me some supply. Let me suck the light. You know, this is one of the reasons why they're mean to people, is because it's a way to deflect from dealing with their own emotions. This is, okay, now watch this. The fact that they're calling you, emailing you, texting you, sending you stuff in the mail, sending their flying monkeys around, playing all these games, trying to hoover you back, is because their emotions are coming up and they're flipping out. Yeah, they cannot deal with it. They don't want to deal with it, okay? So they need another good source of supply. Well, what does that mean other than the energy sucking and you nurturing and complimenting them? It also means they need someone that they can deflect their emotional issues onto, someone they can punish, someone they can blame, someone they can shame, someone they can hurt. Because then now it's literally like almost taking a drug or getting drunk to ignore their own pain. That's why they need you around. It's called being the whipping boy, or you know, the scapegoat. They need someone around to whip. Because not only does it make them feel powerful and good about themselves, it's a deflection and it's a distraction from their own issues that are trying to come up. That's why they need you around. And the fact that they're hoovering you is they're desperate as fuck. So this is not a time to feel afraid. This is a time to feel powerful. God bless you guys. Good luck. See you in the next video.